So, happy Sunday morning, YouTube. I was inspired to do this video. I have just gotten done listening to the Brian Rose and David Icke interview, the fourth interview of 2020. and so much of what David Icke said, I have such a connection to this person on an energetic level because he had these experiences about 30 years ago. Mine was 2 years ago, but they were very, very similar. And some of the things that he said were utterly astounding to me because they had been things that I've said in my podcasts, and also in my writing. I am writing what I somewhat call a how-to book. A how-to book. And some of the things that he was saying today in that interview, I had just written about today. And that was having to do with being disliked, getting used to the idea of being disliked. But that's not what I want to talk about. So basically, the theme, the big takeaway that I got from the interview today had to do with not acquiescing to what we are being asked to do habitually. He had mentioned this about children, and very young children growing up today, and it's a really, really scary world, and people are wearing masks, and they have to be, like, literally, they have to be 6 feet apart. Like, they're saying that in the fall when school resumes, the children will have to sit 6 feet apart. I turned it into a lesson to try to show the children how far apart 6 feet is, but in all actuality, I was trying to cover what I perceived as ridiculousness of it's preposterous that young children would have the ability to actually stay 6 feet apart from one another. It just can't. It is an impossibility. And so I started to really think about all these ideas of things we could do to work around this. But there's even another takeaway where he was talking about food. He was talking about a food shortage coming. And so the last about 4, 5 weeks, I have been doing live streaming on Instagram at the farmer's market. I've been trying to show how easy it is. It was really easy. I would just make my order on between this time and this time, and then I would come. I would not even get out of my car, and I would pick up my stuff. Well, and I was so excited. My bigger idea with this was that we would become very, very supportive of our local farm and start supporting them. And then I was thinking, well, if we needed more food and they had more money, they could buy more land and have bigger farms. And it never even occurred to me. I figured because okay, there's 2 issues, and the other one has to do with this vaccination that's coming. I have not talked about vaccinations very much on my YouTubes, but I have a little bit on my podcasts. I have been a little bit in the middle on all of it, having had a child diagnosed autistic. So for years, I've had this I'm not really sure about these, and then people have treated me very, very badly, being a quote-unquote anti-vaxxer. I have been treated very, very badly by people, called a moron, called stupid, almost this, it has been very, very challenging for me personally, and I don't talk about it very much, even though I work in the industry. of young children with disabilities, and parents ask me sometimes, and it is my belief that it's a combination. It's a combination of factors as to why my child is diagnosed autistic. And I don't know that it's like completely vaccinations. But what I become suspicious about is the idea that we cannot have a conversation. We cannot work together as a community to work together to find out if these vaccinations and the way they have been scheduled and the amount of vaccination and the way the vaccination is made is not contributing to autism. And that is the part that really upsets me, is that we can't have a conversation. And so we have this vaccination coming, and I was so delusional, and I just thought, well, at the farmer's market, surely they would not have this expectation that I would have this vaccination to buy food. So this last week, and I haven't been able to figure out exactly how to do my filming at the farmer's market with the people actually there, because I don't know how. I mean, they may not want to be in my video, and I just haven't quite figured that part out yet. So this last week I didn't film, but it was the first week that it had been like a modified open market. And when I got out of my car and I walked up, everyone had masks. Now, I will tell you that when they sent out the notice about the open market, they said that masks were suggested, but they did not say they were mandatory. And I was utterly shocked at how many people actually had masks on. And so I got out of my car and I walked up, and I noticed that everyone had a mask on, with the exception of me. But here's the thing, it wouldn't be the first time that blonde-haired girl was bucking the system. And so I walked up and I bought my stuff. I did notice a lot of people staring at me because I really stood out because I didn't have a mask on. And then this got me to, I got my stuff, and then I got in my car and I drove away, and I was on to other things because I've been busy this weekend, very, very busy with writing. I plan to have my book rough draft done by the end of the month, so I got to get going. I got to get this together. So but then after listening to this interview, I got to thinking, and I hope that this would not be the case. Like, what if it does come to that we can't buy food unless we have this vaccination, which I have absolutely no intention of having? Would it lead to my starvation? Would I just completely starve because I can't have access to food because I refuse to take this vaccination? It was just a question that came up for me. And David Icke was talking about this throughout, but another theme of it that I was unity. He talked about unity over and over and over again. He talked about us unifying based on the human race, and that if we unify, we are more powerful than whatever this is that is trying to push us down. It is his assertion that there's more going on to the eye. He talks about the cult, like this cult, and I have some understanding about what he's referring to, in the sense that I sort of have felt like my entire life there was this pushing down, like I use the term a thumb on me. I felt like there was this thumb on me, and I just couldn't seem to excel. But here's the thing that I discovered was it's based on my beliefs. And I can't sit here right now and say, oh yeah, see, look at me, I've mastered these skills, see how I've excelled, yada, yada, yada. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm getting better at this every day. I am getting better at this every day, and there will come a day where I will get on my YouTube station and I will tell you unequivocally that this is the truth, that we create our reality. And so I'm not entirely sure, I'm not going to be buying into their version of my reality. Because I believe we live by God's laws and not human laws. And I'm not really sure exactly what that means in all of this, except that I will never take this vaccination. I just won't. I will never voluntarily take this vaccination. And I'm not really sure what that's going to mean for me personally. But it never occurred to me that my farmer's market, these people that I've been buying my food from for so long, would just fall into these ideas that I shouldn't be coming to the market without a mask on. I never thought that they would take that camp, and so I was quite surprised. So I'm going to have to just see how this evolved. It could be just the first week they were being more strict, and I'm just going to have to see. But David Icke's major mission was to not acquiesce, and I don't plan to. I don't plan to acquiesce to what I'm being asked to do. I just, it's not in the makeup of who I am. So, anyway, I'm going to be doing a podcast. So, be on the lookout for a podcast about this David Icke Brian Rose video, because I want to do more on this and that. But I just wanted to share this. Anyway, I appreciate you listening. Love you guys. I'll be back.